to Garden Talk with Jason and Don. Tonight, why my exes are my exes. Viewer discretion is advised.
This is Desk Talk with Jason and Don. Or as my dad said, our version of Wayne's World. And somebody said, well, you're sitting at a desk like Johnny Carson. I said, no, it's not like Johnny Carson. I guarantee you that. But we need to hear more of you. We need to hear you talk more on this since we don't show you on the camera often.
Yeah. You had something to say.
I know I did. I had several things to say. One was about Joe.
Oh, Joe with the bottle in the box.
And after that, there was something we were just talking about.
Oh, about the production?
And it was after that. I don't know. It's not important.
Oh, well.
Yeah, so Joe. Oh. We've just finished, for those of you that don't know, we just finished watching Juanita Giva. Or as what the title is going to be called, I Should Have Called My Mother. That's what Juanita Giva is. Juanita is going to be the name of it, and then underneath it in parentheses, I Should Have Called My Mother. Yeah, and that's going to be the name of this of that
segment
of that 14-minute segment of that 14-minute monologue. That's a monologue.
And you were just coming off from morphine at that time.
I was just coming off morphine
New Year's.
after. Because a week earlier I died 3 times. Well, it's the truth. You know.
You almost didn't make the new year.
But Joe in the Bottle, it's before we get to the story about Joe in the Bottle, what's very interesting, and I was thinking about this before, Joe died the week before Christmas 3 years ago.
Really? In real life?
In real life.
Oh.
Yeah, Joe died. By falling and hitting his head. Well, he was drunk. You know, he fell down a flight of stairs with his pants, with the pants around his ankles.
Oh, jeez. What a way to go.
In January in the snow in a family building, they found him with his pants and his underwear around his ankle, or just below his knees.
And his ass up in the air?
And he fell down the stairs and split his head open like 7 by 4. I mean, the whole fucking skull was open. And Rick paid for an autopsy because he wanted to know. And
Joe is
Rick's brother.
Oh, that's the brother.
Yeah.
And he lived in New York. Or at the time he died.
At this point, he was in Maryland when he died.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he did live in New York.
Okay, he's the ex that you were talking about.
No, he doesn't have an accent.
No, the ex you were
X
talking
with
about
the bottle,
before.
The bottle in the cardboard box.
And the one
that we were talking about earlier, right? You shouldn't move in with your ex.
Right.
And that
why
was Joe.
exes are exes.
Why exes are exes.
Yes.
That was right. Why exes are exes. There we go. Comma. When we do a story about Joe, that's what it's going to be called. Why exes are exes. So, if you can, let's do this. Oh no. Why exes are exes. So, why exes?
Your finger's in the way of on the sides there.
Sorry.
You're blocking open. Okay, we got you.
Can you get it?
I got it.
Why exes are exes.
Why exes are exes.
But actually, as fucked up as Joe was, well, I was fucked up too. Yeah, but because we were both on meth and drugs, and then I found out for years he'd been spiking my cocktails with meth, and I only found that out because NG. And I only found that out because one night I happened to walk into the kitchen when we had some friends over to watch South Park, and he was dosing their cocktails.
There's two.
And I said, "What are you doing?" He's, "Shh." I'm like, "You're putting GHB in their liquor? Oh my God, Joe, you could kill them." He's, "Oh, maybe we can all have an orgy." And I'm like,
Oh, shit.
well, he was high. He was high on meth and and alcohol. And I just thought, no, we are not. I'm not having an orgy with those guys. One of them is a fuck buddy of mine, but we're not having an orgy. And I know they won't have sex with you anyways. But just because they're pretentious snobs, they were my pretentious friends. Anyways, yeah, I found out. I said, "Did you do that to me?" He said, "Hi." Of course, he admits. He looks away. Well, I've been doing that for years. I said, "Well, what do you mean years?" This was 98. I guess he'd been doing it to me off and on since 94.
Did you feel like you'd been raped afterwards?
No, I didn't feel like I was raped. I just got really, really high on alcohol. And it was like, wow, this is a weird effect on me sometimes. Now I know why. Because when we're at home or even out, he would dose my fucking drink with either meth that he'd liquid and mixed it with G, and Christ, fucking kill me. You did not mix GHB with alcohol. It could kill you.
Well, he did, apparently.
Well, I did. We did, but you weren't supposed to. And not behind my back. And not to people who are going to drive. But anyways, was I going to tell the story about the bottle in the box?
Well, you wanted to, yeah. You said to remind you for it.
Why X's are X's. Yeah. So this is part 2 of a story we told earlier, which
Why X's are
we'll
X's.
edit. We'll edit. Yeah, we'll edit. Well, I mean the one when you hit stop when we started talking to Joe, and you said it sounded tragic, and I went home and took a swig of mouthwash, not to drink, just to clean my mouth out because I have horrible garbage taste in my mouth. Still, it's not as bad as it was. It's better.
No.
It's more like stale Halloween decorations now. It's what it tastes like. Not so much like rancid trash.
Right.
But anyways, I thought the reason why you said that you thought the story of Joe was going to be funny, and it didn't. I went home and I thought, oh, we talked about this before. After I was coming down off the morphine, why things were funny. And you'll have to just bear with reading my writing, figure it out on your own. Yeah. It's run it through your comic filter. It's my ability to tell stories that Don pulled out of me, but every once in a while I get really, really dark. It just get really, really dark. And then I go home and I'm like, take your pill and go to bed. And the thing is, my sleeping pills suck these days. Seroquel was so much fun, Don. I had so much... Do you take sleeping pills?
No.
Well, I know you take a muscle relaxer of some kind, or tranquilizers.
Yeah, but I just take one in the morning, one at night.
Yeah, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. Well,
no, at night.
At night. Yeah, that's cool. Well, I take a sleeping pill at night, and I don't take any tranquilizers during the day. But the Seroquel used to be a lot of fun. There was this euphoric part of it before you got tired. I think we did a recording on this before.
Yeah.
Okay, trazodone isn't like that. It's not like that. You get a little sleepy, you lay down, you go to sleep. There's no high off of it at all. And the dreams aren't as fun. They're okay. They're okay. They're not as fun. So I guess if I were really good dreams and a little trippy sleeping pill, I have to put up with cottonmouth from hell. Or if I just want to go to sleep normal, what feels like normally going to sleep, then I have to take the trazodone and not have the fun part of it. But what the hell that had to do with Joe and the liquor on the couch? The liquor in the box.
It was hidden in the box.
It was hidden in the box. Let me see if I can work my way back through the story. This is the second part of when I relapsed, and then I went to New York after I lived in the building for a certain amount of time with drug dealers and meth and potheads and crap like that, and Mark. It was just a fucking basket case of cortisone shots that were spitting him out like mad from the cortisone shots he was taking for whatever the hell that was.
The Mark that was
Mark Lane, who used to live next to me. Anyway, so I'm in New York with somebody who's just not stable. He is not stable, and after a series of tragic events that I should have left, but I really had nowhere else to go. And I didn't want to go back to California yet. And I didn't want to go back to Indiana because there was an ice storm. And the power was out for 2 weeks. It was like 2 weeks, and my mom and dad but across the street they had power. So my mom and dad had extension cords going across the street just so that they could run one heater and one light to heat up the living room, and they had the fireplace going 24/7 just to heat up that room. And yeah, no thank you.
All that on an extension cord?
Well, they had a light and a small heater, but then they had the fireplace going too.
Oh, okay.
I think the cord went to the fridge also.
Oh yeah.
Oh.
Would have to.
Anyway, so the choice was at that point, come back to California and surf for couch commitments. Freeze my ass off in Indiana at my parents' house.
With no power.
With no power. Just a small heater, a fireplace, and a very large dog that weighed 185 pounds that loved to cuddle. He'll keep you warm.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, with my mom on one side, my dad on the other side of the dog, and the dog in the middle, where was I supposed to sleep? Underneath the dog? Yeah, I mean, it's like, no, I mean...
Where's your brother?
What?
Where was your brother?
My brother didn't have power at his place either.
Oh, but he wasn't over there with them?
No.
Okay.
This was just 9 years ago. And like a year before I moved in here, or 10 years ago.
The fun of living in the Midwest or the East Coast.
Well, it was that. It was either that or stay in New York with Joe, which was just a
ongoing drama.
A cartwheel of drama that just no matter, you just spin the chance of luck every day, and it's going to land on something horrific or tragic event that Joe's doing. And he's getting mad at me because I'm going to New York, and because I'm going to parties on Park Avenue and blah blah blah, and on the AA things, the AA people that I met, going to parties on. I was in Trump Tower for a party one time, not with Trump, but somebody had on an upper floor. So I was going to nice parties, but Joe got jealous. And I'm the one that caused his relapse, he told me. Well, then, because I decorated for Christmas.
You decorated for Christmas?
I decorated for Christmas, and that made him relapse. So, as soon as Rick left, because Rick was there for a week and a half, and Joe had been drinking anyways, when I wasn't around, but anyway, he'd been drinking. One morning, he seemed more off than others. I mean, really off. And I knew he was drunk. Because he was just sneaking around, and he was going looking for things. I was watching TV one morning eating breakfast, and he comes out of his bedroom, and I'm like, oh God. What is he? And he's got something in his hand he's trying to hide. And I'm like, well, it's obviously a liquor bottle. So Joe goes into the kitchen area and disappears for a while. But I heard him ruffling around over in some boxes in the corner. And I thought, that's probably where he's hiding it. So he went going back in his bedroom for a while. And he came back out, and he ruffled in the boxes again. So I stuck my head in there, and I looked, and I saw him take this just cheap rot gut liquor, just rot gut vodka. I just to look around and then stick it back in the box. So I went out in the other room and sat down. I went back in the living room and sat down and acted like it was no big deal. So when Joe went back to the room,
you went in.
I went in there and I took the bottle out and I brought it out and I set it on the I set it on the stand by the TV. No, I knew he was too drunk to even see it. But I remember when he came to the living room and I was like trying not to laugh because I guess he forgot I was there, or he thought I wouldn't know what he was doing, that he was fucked up. And he goes in, he's ruffling around in the box, and he's ruffling around in the box.
It's
and
getting noisier and
and he's
noisier.
getting really aggressive, trying to go through different boxes, trying to find, because there were boxes against the back wall on the far part of the kitchen area. And I poked my head in, and I said, "Well, you lose something?" And he's, "No." I said, "Oh, okay." I went back in the living room. He's still looking for it. I said, "Do you need some help?" "No." I said, "Well, what are you doing?" "Nothing. It's my apartment." I said, "Yeah, you're right, it is."
You look like you need a cocktail.
And then he goes back in his bedroom for a while, and he starts ruffling around in there for shit and going through. He probably thinks gee, maybe I brought it in the bedroom and I forgot. So he's in there ruffling around in the bedroom. I knock on the door and I say, "Are you okay?" "Yeah, I'm fine. I'm fine. Just leave me alone." I'm like, "Oh, okay." And then he goes back, and the multiple times he went back and forth between his bedroom and the living room, his bedroom and the kitchen area.
He never sees the bottle.
I didn't see the bottle sitting right there by the fucking TV.
I would have put it back in the thing after his 4th or 5th time, then he thinks he's going crazy.
Well, this time when he went back into the kitchen, he's still rifling through the same boxes that he'd already looked through. I took the bottle and I set it in the doorway between the door. So when he went back to the bedroom, he'd see it.
You were teasing him.
I was.
To see if he would notice.
And I swear to God, he just just this look of sheer confusion on his face and panic. Yeah, because if he went out the door, which was right there, and went down to the liquor store that he lived on top of,
Yeah.
and came back up with a brown bag, I'd know what the fuck it was.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm thinking. Because he kept looking at the door, and I'm like, "Is somebody coming over?" Poor thing. But he walks in the bedroom, and he just walks right over the bottle. Like it didn't even see it. Starts looking. He lifts up the bed. He's looking under the bed. He didn't even bother to shut the door at this time. At this point, he's looking under the bed, and I said, "What did you lose?" And he's, "Nothing." I said, "Okay." He said, "I think I have to get ready to go into work." And I said, "I don't know if that's a good idea. You're getting ready to go into work." Because he worked at HBO. He was an editor there. Not a good idea to go show up drunk on... Yeah, it was more... There was more than alcohol going on. It was probably G or whatever the hell is there. And he had a bottle of absinthe in the fucking kitchen that he had brought over from France. And when I started staying with him, there was something in that bottle. When he was acting like this, I went in the kitchen area one time and looked in this old absinthe bottle, and the absinthe bottle was empty.
Really?
So I don't know how long it's been since they made absinthe, but I know it's been a while. And I think he drunk the old absinthe, because the bottle was sealed when I moved in there. It was like more of a collector thing, and
Yeah.
And the seal was broken, and the fucking drugs were gone. You know, and the absinthe was gone. You know, he's in there chasing the fucking green fairy, looking for shit. I don't know, on expired absinthe. If it expires, I don't know, because it's got morphine in it. You know, it's I don't know. Anyways, so I'm feeling really sorry for him at one point. So I go in there and I start looking through drawers also in his bedroom. His tweakers will do that. I wasn't tweaking. I was sober for a couple of months at this point. 2 months. But we'll help you look for shit that we stole. So I just thought, okay, I'm going to help him look. He said, "What are you doing?" I said, "Well, same thing you're doing. I'm looking for something." And then I looked down on the floor and I said, "Oh, is this what you're looking for?" Here's the bottle. "What's that?" I said, "Well, that was the bottle that you had hidden out in the box." I said, "It's been sitting in front of the TV." Yeah, anyway, I went and dictated everything that I had done and the whole process of where it's been, and then he walked over it and "You're not my mother." And I said, "No, you're right, I'm not."
She wouldn't be proud.
For years and years and years and years and years and years, I listened to that man threaten he was going to kill himself. Now that he's been officially busted for drinking, even though I know he's been drinking for months since I've been there, the one he blamed it on me because the Halloween Christmas decorations. Well, you decorated for Christmas and you drove me to it. That was one excuse, and then it was somebody else's fault. It was somebody else's fault. I'm just going to kill myself. And I said, really? So I picked up my phone, and I said, you're going to kill yourself? And I hit recording. I'm just going to go fucking throw myself off the bridge. I'm going to kill myself right now. On and on and on and on. And I stopped recording, and I dialed 911. I said, okay, we'll see about this. Because I'm about done with it. I am done with it. And I'm going to have your ass locked up at a psych ward for a couple days. And I'm going to have some peace and quiet around here. And the police station was literally just right around the corner.
Yeah.
I mean,
they could walk over.
They could walk. Yeah, they could walk over. So
house call.
So yeah, he sees me dial 911, and I tell him that my ex-boyfriend is threatening to kill himself right now. He's drunk, and he might have drank some expired absinthe. I remember the 911 operator going, "What?" I said, "Well, it was an old bottle, and it was sealed, and now it's empty. And he's drunk, and he's threatening to throw himself off the bridge." Okay, we'll send somebody over. So cops buzz. He's like, "Who's that?" And I said, "It's the police." So you know what he does? He goes down and he lets the police in.
He says the first thing he wants is upstairs.
And he flops his ass down on the couch, and he starts putting on his shoes.
To go.
I don't know. And he's putting on his shoes. I guess he knows that it's going to go somewhere. And the police said, "So what's the problem?" And I said, "Well, he's been threatening to kill himself. And he's drunk. And he might have drank some expired absinthe." And the cop looked at me and he said, "What?" And I said, "Well, and he here's the bottle, and there was stuff in it. He had it smuggled over here years ago from France," is what he told me. And Joe always liked to tell stories, so I told the cop what he told me. He had it smuggled over, and it was sealed, and now it's not. And he was like, "There's morphine in that." I said, "Yeah." I said, "I know he does GHB and crystal meth too, so I don't know what else is in there besides the alcohol." And he's threatening to kill himself. And the cop looks at Joe and he says, "Are you threatening to kill yourself?" And he said, "Yes." Well, they're obligated to take him away, put him in a psych ward. And they call an ambulance, and the ambulance comes. And the ambulance asks Joe, "Where would you like us to take you?" Well, now he lives in Queens. Just the first stop in Queens after Grand Central Station, or not Grand Central, but the first stop. Well, he wanted to go into Manhattan, and they said, "No," because he wanted to go to the frou-frou celebrity place where he's been before. Even though he's not a celebrity, it's always the best. I have an American Express card.
Well, that's important.
There are several taglines in Joe's life, and Rick and I joke about these all the time. In the 90s, he had to go through this whole thing of, he would always say, "Well, do they know I have an American Express card? Do they know that you have one also?" And I said, "Well, I also have a Visa Platinum, but it's not American Express." That was his identity, was American Express. And he had to brag to people how much his American Express bill was at the bars every month to try to say, "I spent $2,000 this month on liquor at the bars," and they like to impress people. But there was this group that would try to impress each other how much they spent on liquor, and I just sat back and thinking, God, you're all fucking idiots. Anyways, yeah, Joe's a Joe in the American Express card. So the cops said, the ambulance said, "Well, you have your choice of A or B." I said, "Well, I don't want to go to either one." And they said, "Well, you're threatening to kill yourself. You're going to one."
Mm.
And so he put on his leather coat, scarf, the glasses, the hat, got himself all dressed up.
Got his American Express card with him?
No, at this point, all of his American Express cards were overdrawn. So,
You did say that.
well, I felt so bad for him at that point.
Thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel.